Hoy es el 18 de mayo. Estamos aquí en Shootin The Shift.
Bruh, it's May 12th. How did you accelerate us by a week?
I have no idea.
Yo.
I'm thinking ahead of time is what I'm doing.
Welcome to Shootin The Shift a week from now. It is May 12th, not May 18th. Which, by the way, would it be your birthday, my
I know.
friend?
That's why
Like,
it's on my
yo,
mind right
this
now.
dude
It's on my
is-
mind. It's on my mind.
Yes, all right. So, welcome to Shootin The Shift. Today's May 12th. My name is Willie.
And I'm Brian.
I don't know who this guy is.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not Brian.
This is Brian from the future, from a week from now.
Yes.
And today on our daily drive, we'll go straight into the Rolls-Royce Cullinan being unveiled and in the flesh, naked, and it looks like the best looking SUV of all time, in my opinion.
Church on wheels is what it looks like.
Like-
But I will put an order in right now for a red one.
I mean,
with black rims.
The only props that I can give BMW is the fact that they own this company.
Yes. That's
Because like this truck looks sick. So I mean the exterior, obviously it looks very Rolls-Royce-ish. The front, it has the typical front grille. The headlights look very familiar to the other lineup of cars that they have. It's just taller, longer,
So,
big.
okay.
delicious, and it has suicide doors, of course, a staple of the Rolls-Royces.
If you do not know more or less what it looks like, picture a Phantom, and then just hit it over the head, make sure it swells up a little bit, and then you just got, it's pretty much a taller Phantom.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
It looks amazing, and the interior is obviously, what else could you expect from Rolls-Royce? The interior is really nice. You can almost make these things bespoke, where you can change almost anything on there and make it to your liking. I think the first one was just delivered in Doha, Qatar, of course, in the Middle East.
Rear wood trim, none of this faux wood. All right.
Yeah. First 4x4 Rolls-Royce ever.
Yes.
First to be an actual 4x4. None of the cars have an all-wheel drive system or anything like that. They're all rear-wheel drive. So
Almost a 7-liter V12.
delicious.
Jesus.
Yes.
So it sounds like two lions fighting every time you just put, like,
6.75 liter V12 that develops 563 horsepower and 620 pounds of torque, which it will need to move this 6,000 pound SUV down the road and up mountains, because apparently it will. They're claiming that while it's off-roading, it'll feel like you're on the road. That's how well they've tuned the suspension on this thing.
So what you're saying is that I can go to Tropical Park in that truck and do the little mountain without a problem?
I'm saying you can drive around New York with the potholes that they have like every 3 feet, and you won't feel anything. So that's the claim.
Oh, man.
But yeah, again, not that we didn't know it wasn't going to look good, but now we can actually see all the lines and everything without the camouflage. And it looks spectacular, to be honest. There is no SUV that looks better than this.
Yeah, no, I can agree. Honestly, when the Bentley truck came out, it was nice. It's just not this nice.
Nah, yeah. The Bentley truck's okay. It's not great. This thing is great, to be honest.
We're definitely starting to see a starting of a trend. Especially with these two companies that are known for luxury.
Yes.
But you will see or start to see a lot of SUVs with more luxury than they've had in the past. Definitely, just because of these two examples.
Yeah, no.
But,
SUVs are definitely super popular, especially right now because gas prices are reasonable, at least in the U.S. And whenever gas prices go down, SUV sales go up.
Yep.
So hopefully the prices stay this way, so we could see some epic SUVs in the future.
No, we're going to. We're definitely in a time right now where everybody's choosing SUVs or even small little crossovers over cars.
I'm a fan of fuel efficient SUVs like the GLS 63 and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
They do 10 mpg like on a good day.
All right, so I kind of want to move on to something that I think it drops hints into something bittersweet. There's been talks that it's not, but it is what it is. There was a recent interview with Fernando Alonso, and he was talking about his greatest memories of winning races, which obviously hasn't been recent because he's not part of the three companies that are dominating Formula One right now. And he stated that his in his early career, the Spanish Grand Prix would be something that he would have been overjoyed to win and all that stuff. But in recent memory, it was his previous win at was in Le Mans, right?
Yes,
correct. So that's to me.
No, sorry, not Le Mans, Spa.
That's Spa, correct.
Yeah.
So to me, it's an inclination that he's going to be one of the great Formula One drivers that is going to transition to that world, joining Mark Webber and many other talented drivers. Some say he's not, but I mean, at this point, with those three companies, dominating since 2013, it's not a bad call in my eyes.
Look, if you're not on the top teams, you're gonna whine. That's usually how it goes.
Oh, correct. Yeah.
So unfortunately, Fernando had an opportunity to go to a McLaren team. He was at Ferrari. Mm-hmm. He left Ferrari 2 years before they started getting good again. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he made a risky choice of saying, okay, I'm going to go to McLaren now because they're partnered with Honda. It didn't work out, unfortunately. But what if it did work out? Would he be complaining like he is now if McLaren was the top team?
Right.
Probably not. So, it's just a timing thing. Look, Lewis Hamilton had he had perfect timing. He went to Mercedes right when the hybrid era started or a year before, and now they're at the top. He could have gone to McLaren and ended up in the same position that Fernando's in.
Right.
It's just Formula One is just it's a lot about timing. It's a lot about being able to predict what teams are gonna come out of this next set of regulations. Whenever there's a huge change in regulations in Formula One, it mixes things up. There's always a new team that surfaces. So right now we're seeing Mercedes and Ferrari. Ferrari's actually catching up. They're having a battle between those two constructors. If Fernando would have stayed with Ferrari, who wasn't doing good when he left, then he would be in a top car right now.
Right.
But unfortunately, he didn't. And, I really just don't buy the whining. It sucks that he's a great driver. There's also a lot of great drivers on the grid. He's not the only one. Take Nico Hülkenberg, for instance, who has never really had an opportunity to be in a winning car, but he's known to be one of the best drivers on the grid. They call him the best of the rest.
Yeah.
So I mean, whatever. I really don't buy it. He's just gonna have to deal with it, or he's gonna have to make moves and get into a better car. I mean, it is what it is.
I think with time we go back to what we've talked about in the past. It's the leveling of the playing field in Formula One and kind of trying to bring those three teams down to everyone else to see if it's really about that. So.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not what I mean. Unfortunately, that's if you want to do that, then go race IndyCar. Those cars are built for the most part equally, or do NASCAR or do something like that. Formula One's not really designed to do that. I think there should be some leveling of the playing field. Maybe all the engines should be the same, something like that, but not to where every car is exactly the same, because that's a little boring, to be honest. And to end this segment real quick, just last week we discussed Formula One. There's a proposal being submitted to the Miami Commission for Formula One for there to be a race in downtown Miami, which was actually approved. So delicious. Unanimously, by the way, for a 10-year contract to have a race in downtown Miami. The layout, we don't know for sure what it's going to be. We have a proposed layout. I'm sure that's going to be tweaked. That's here or there. I'm already looking for Airbnbs because none of the Airbnb people who rent those things know that this thing's coming yet. I'm waiting for the dates to lock it down right now at $250 a day with a freaking apartment overlooking the entire track. So I'm super excited,
dude. So
are all our friends.
I'm camping on top of the AAA. I'm just gonna sneak in at night and then on the roof put a little tent.
It's gonna be epic.
Epic. Oh my God.
Epic. Yes.
It's definitely something that I believe Miami needed. Yeah. We don't have.
I'm taking that whole week off, by the way, so you know. So I'm not working that week.
Yeah. So this will be this. aside from Texas having their Grand Prix, this will be the second U.S. Grand Prix. So hopefully that trend continues.
They're trying to have a few actually. I think they're trying to do like 3 or 4 U.S. races is like what they're trying to do. Liberty Media owns Formula One. They're a U.S. based company, so it makes sense. And yeah, that pretty much wraps up Fernando whining for being on the wrong team. So we're gonna move on to.
Do you hate Mustangs? Are you a Camaro enthusiast? Do you have a Corvette in front of your house?
Yeah.
Well, it's good news.
Yeah. It's not enough. It's not enough that we lose Mustangs to cars and coffee meets right after they're trying to, take their traction control off and show how much power their 5-liter V8 motor has. And, they end up crashing, wrecking them. We're all very aware in the car community that Mustangs are prone to accidents.
Very dangerous.
But what I didn't know they were prone to is being consumed by lava from an erupting volcano.
Well, no. What we're seeing here is that Mother Nature is taken now on the offense towards Mustangs to try and end the problem.
Yes. I think Mother Nature's going to finish off what the drivers started, the Mustang drivers.
Correct. So if you don't know...
I appreciate that, Mother Nature.
If you don't know or haven't heard yet, you live somewhere under a rock, inside of a closet. There was a massive, pretty much a landslide of lava that erupted in Hawaii, and the news happened to get a clip of it. And it essentially, obviously, a time lapse of it. It was dragging across the street, and it met with a silver 2003, 2004 Mustang, and completely lit it on fire just by touching it.
There has to be something. There has to be some kind of technology that they built in to Ford built something into these Mustangs so they crash or destroyed. After a certain point in time of being alive, they just self-destruct. Or they move. This car happened to be in the path of lava. How did that happen?
It wasn't the front bumper. Yeah. It wasn't the back part. No, dead onto the door.
Yeah.
There's no way that maybe no. This thing went beelined it for a Mustang.
I think Ford knows that most people who have cars have insurance and they have something built in. We're gonna find out later. They're gonna get investigated for having some kind of death device that's built into the car that destroys it after 10 years, and they have to buy a new car. Yep.
Listen, this could have been an insurance job. I know exactly where the lava's coming.
It might be,
and I'm just gonna put my car there because I need a new car.
Yeah. And the funny part about this is so the car's parked, right, and the car's coming, or the lava's coming in from the side. The photo that's you could see online of this car is actually showing you the front of the car, and the lava's coming in from the right. Hitting the car on the driver's side, and there's this picture's hilarious because to the left of the car there's an R2-D2 mailbox that's about to get consumed as well. So R2-D2 and this Mustang are about to die, and R2's probably pissed because he knows it's the Mustang's fault that he's gonna die.
Well, no, because his last moments are right next to a Mustang. No offense, I'm just saying you guys.
Yeah, that's not a way to go out.
Yeah, you listen. I love Mustangs. I'm just saying you guys have a bad rap. Yeah. We need to switch it around.
Just to add a little context to, if you guys don't believe me that Mustangs are always in accidents, you're like, nah, it can't be. There's two gentlemen right here who owned the same Mustang at 2 different times
and crashed it.
I crashed it once.
I crashed it
in
twice,
England, and he crashed it twice.
Actually, 3 times.
Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, and it's not us. It was the car. So
it's not, I didn't want to crash.
Yeah.
The car just took it upon itself.
They're a little tail happy.
Yeah, exactly. So. No matter even with fresh tires and brakes and the whole 9.
So that's basically the story. For the YouTube viewers, we'll post it up so you guys can check out the lava actually in video form consuming the car, which is pretty glorious. And
to even watch it it's in slow mo because the lava doesn't move fast. It's in slow mo. The car's just there waiting for it.
Yeah. So I think this is a perfect segue into Ford made an announcement that they're going to stop selling a lot of their cars except for the Mustang and the Focus. Great.
They're deciding whether the Mustang's a sure thing they're going to keep. Okay. They just recently,
because it's a moneymaker. They get crashed all the time.
Correct.
So I mean, that's super profitable.
They're trying to keep the Mustang obviously as a 2-door, and they're going to keep a sedan obviously, whether it be the Taurus or, you know, the Fusion. It's really unclear right now. But they have noticed, and I guess they got together with the bean counters, and they realized that their money is in commercial vehicles, trucks, you know, and SUVs. It kind of ties into what I said earlier. Yeah. We're moving into times right now where the coupes and sedans are with us, but, you know, all you really need to do is to go to your nearest plaza or shopping center. You could see exactly what we're on about.
I personally think this is a dumb move. One, because they're making this decision based off of declining car sales right now, because again, gas is cheap. People are buying more SUVs. When we had the issue with when we had the recession or the recession back in 2007, 2008, gas prices shot up to like, I mean, I know you remember, at least down here in Florida, like $5-6 a gallon.
Yeah.
People got rid of all their SUVs.
Right.
And then SUV sales were down for a long time. Gas prices finally got low again. People start buying SUVs again. So, I mean, as long as it's not going to cost them too much money to go back to building cars again, if and when gas prices go up, then fine. But I really don't think it's smart to just get rid of your entire car lineup except for 2 cars.
It's not a matter of getting rid of cars, because they are selling a Mustang and a 4-door. Like, they have to for the lineup. What they've gotten together is that, compared to, let's say, Chevy that has the Malibu, has, you know, the Camaro, they have certain cars that sell the Cruise. All these cars sell. Is that Ford has the C-Max, Ford has the Fiesta, Ford has the Fusion, Ford has a Taurus. So there's a lot of 4-door sedans and 2-doors that aren't selling as much as the Mustang and another 4-door car. So that's the only thing that they're gathering from this study. And I mean, at this point, they have, you know, the F-150 is the top grossing car of all time. Like, that's the car that sells, I believe the statistics are, within every 30 something seconds, there's a F-150.
America loves pickup trucks.
Correct. So they're not having a problem in that area. They're just saying there's too many cars in their lineup that aren't selling as well. So they're just going to stick to the one that sells the most, which is the Mustang, and then something for families, obviously, like a 4-door Taurus or a Fusion or something like that, which I don't think is bad, because you're producing these cars that just are sitting on the lot, and then I'm sure you have to buy back or sell somewhere else for a fraction of the price when they get old. So
no, I mean, I'm sure they know what they're selling and what they're not. I'm just saying, if gas prices shoot up again, they're not going to sell any SUVs. So,
yeah, but it's you can't.
And what, you're just gonna have 2 cars to choose from?
Well, no. The thing is that, remember, all these the SUVs we're talking about are, you know, your Honda CR-Vs of the world and your Escapes and whatnot.
Not these.
No.
This is okay. So their truck lineup is where we go. We have the Explorer, big truck.
Okay.
The Escape,
that's
pretty
not
big.
That's not big.
Yeah, but they're not fuel efficient.
That's what I'm saying. But you also have to understand that
Bronco, massive.
You cannot compare SUVs of right now to even 5 years ago, because there's SUVs right now doing 20 miles to the gallon or whatever, which wasn't even heard of back in the day.
Yeah, but 20 miles to the gallon compared to a car is horrible. Like, on a car,
right?
You're getting 30, 40 miles a gallon.
All you have to do, you obviously don't take my word for it. It's what they're saying, but all you have to do is go to any shopping mall and see for yourself. There's more SUVs than there are cars.
I agree, but it's because gas is at $2.60 a gallon.
I don't think
if it was at $5, then those SUVs would stay in that shopping center.
I don't know. I don't. Honestly, to me, it's more of what's popular now thing. It's not, I mean, you might be right. You might be right.
Dude, SUVs have always been popular in the United States.
Right.
Always.
Right.
I mean, it's just a matter of, you know, can you make it affordable to maintain, to use?
Right,
if gas is too expensive, then it happened before already. I mean, it's not something that I'm making up. People stopped buying SUVs in 2008.
I know.
And they just really did.
So it's sad. I mean, not sad to us, I guess, but it's not sad to them, because they're pocketing a lot of money. I do fear them being kind of like one of the big boys in the manufacturing business of cars, that it might lead to a trend. It might not, because there's other car brands that do pretty well all across the board. So let's see. There's always good for change on their part, I guess. If
I still don't understand how those cars die and like the Dodge Demon doesn't die, or like the Prius, or like, you know, like, why don't those cars die?
They're economic.
It's ridiculous.
So that's going to conclude our daily drive, and I think our head-to-head is up next. No,
We have a spicy head-to-head. We've got the Aston Martin DB11 AMR and the AMG GTR. So, the AMG GTR, which I'm sure some of you are familiar with. Some people call it the Green Monster. The color it was unveiled in was like this matte green, like
booger green,
Hulk green, I guess. I don't know the actual color.
Plátano verde.
Yeah,
That's what's
Plátano green. This one is sporting a V8 twin turbo delicious AMG engine. We all know how amazing those are. The hot V twin turbo setup with the turbos in the V.
Goddamn.
Which cut out a lot of the lag, which actually gives this little monster 577 horsepower, 516 foot-pounds of torque.
Jack, you keep talking, you're turning me on,
man. This is doing 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, and it does the quarter mile in a flat 11 seconds, which is pretty nice. Yeah, I mean, you guys pretty much all know that I'm a fan.
You don't really?
Yeah.
Wow.
This car's a little bit conflicting for me because this is like it's supposed to be the 911 killer, which it is not, for the record, but it is. I mean,
it looks amazing.
It's very impressive. It's a super good-looking car from the front, from the rear, from the sides. It looks more aggressive than the stock AMG GT. It has that delicious grunt. I call the AMG amazing man grunt is what I think AMG stands for. So that's basically what it is.
That's just, yeah. It's angry man.
Yeah, that's right.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, this car weighs a lot less than the Aston Martin. This is between 3,400 and 3,600 pounds, depending on the spec. The DB11 is going to be slightly heavier. There's no weight. This car just recently got unveiled, but it is going to be heavier for sure. It's definitely a heavier car. I think it's a little bit longer as well. So that's going to be the downfall on the quarter mile side.
You don't share.
Yes.
It's a new DB11 Aston Martin. It's going to be the new Bond car.
But I mean, the DB11 is a stunning car as well. It's it's got a V12, so it's got a leg up there. The sound.
Right. This is a more civilized taking to like go get groceries version than the Vulcan. The Vulcan's like one of my. The Vulcan is basically this car with a huge ring, like just a wing like this. Basically, you can hang groceries off of it if you like. And it's a track car for the streets, but this is a little bit more downtoned for that with the V12. It's got about 630 horsepower with the same bi-turbo-ness, I guess, of the AMG. The AMG has a lot more, I guess, science into it. You know how the Brits are. And to me, it looks amazing. I mean, the backlights, everything. It still has that same silhouette that Aston Martin continues to bring on. And I swear you can put them all line by line. The Vanquish, the Vanquish, the Rapide. They all have that same silhouette, but every single time they unveil one, man, it's very breathtaking, and that exhaust note, the V12, even with it being bi-turbo, is not the man grunt, but it's definitely got his own.
This is the track version, or the more aggressive.
Correct.
The standard DB11 is a GT car. It's a touring car, a Grand Tour, and this is the more aggressive, more track focused.
Yes.
Aston Martin DB11.
So 0 to 62 in 3.7 seconds. We got a top speed of 208 miles an hour, because 180 isn't cut anymore.
Yeah, I mean, this is like if you. I'm trying to think of the market for this car. If you're an Aston Martin fan, you love Aston Martin cars, and you want something that's not as smooth, you want something a little bit more aggressive, a sportier version of the DB11, this is your car.
Correct.
Now, if you want a car to take, for DE days, or you want to go on the track and stuff like this, I do not recommend this car. I would go for the AMG GTR. This car is not going to do well on the track. For the most part, most Aston Martins do not. They're heavy cars. If you look at the car, there's not a lot of aero built into the car. If you actually look at it, you can tell that aero was not really one of the focuses when they made this car. Because if not, you would see some kind of wing on there, on the rear.
What they're doing is trying to get like you stated in the past, it's getting a road car, kind of spicing it up a little bit.
They have to make different variants of each car, but I'm just saying, if we're pitting these cars together,
right?
The GTR will obliterate this car on the track. It just will. Period. And I think for me personally, the AMG GTR is a much better all-around car. I think you can do more with it. With this car, you'd have to have another one for the track if you really wanted to go to the track. I just don't think. I don't think you're going to be very pleased with this car on the racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, but again, most of our viewing audience is not going to the track.
But they should. They should. I highly encourage it.
So, long story short, take his advice, get a Vulcan.
No. That's
yes.
No, not a Vulcan.
Yes.
No, your Vulcan, you cannot even drive on the road.
I don't care. Break the law, drive it on the highway, run from the police, whatever you got to do.
No. AMG GTR, for me, is the winner on this.
Breaking the law.
And I also think it's cheaper, by the way.
Oh, of course. Because, come on. Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no.
I don't think.
I agree with you on
and
that.
depreciation-wise, if we want to get, want to be financially responsible, the Aston Martin will be worth a third of what it was worth when you first bought it, like a year later.
But a Vulcan won't.
Yeah. Yeah. So, moving on to our But Why segment.
Sadly, that concludes the head-to-head.
A U.S. soldier deliberately cuts a parachute strap on Humvees during an airdrop. So,
which, keep in mind, is something,
I can't even say allegedly because there's video of it.
It's like frowned upon, but it's hilarious to us. And apparently it's the field on the actual, or the soldiers on the field as well. So
Sergeant John T. Skipper, which by the way is like such a military name, by the way, congratulations.
Yes.
29-year-old was convicted in a court martial this week of deliberately cutting the parachute straps of 3 Humvees. The trucks were destroyed, no shit, when they hit the ground. But so
you do have to understand that out there, when men are amongst men and there's no entertainment of any kind, this is hilarious. And even for us, where there is entertainment everywhere, this is hilarious.
I think this was here in the United States, and it was like a practice thing. They were not in the desert. They were not at war.
Still,
so
being amongst men for a long period of time is war.
Hey, listen, I think it's hilarious. The bad part is it was caught on video, and somebody, I think it doesn't say specifically if he posted it, but somebody posted it on YouTube, and then super embarrassing, obviously, for the United States Army, to just be throwing away 3 Humvees, that were airdropped, a practice airdrop out of a C-130.
If anybody, viewing now wonders where the excess of money goes to, or your taxes, there you go.
There you go. Yeah, we're all going to pay for that. Well, we already did, actually. There were Humvees that were in there. So
exactly. I personally think this is one of these instances where this guy just wanted to get out, and his superiors were like, no, not happening. There's no way you're getting out of here. And he's like, yeah, boom.
The worst part is he wasn't even dishonorably discharged from the military. They just demoted his rank, and then they discharged him. So he didn't even get dishonorably discharged for destroying 3 Humvees, deliberately.
I want to join. If that's the worst of the worst, I want to join.
The video is amazing because you start to see Humvees actually getting pushed out of the C-130, and the parachutes are deploying and they're floating, and then all of a sudden, one comes out, and you're like, "Oh, the parachute's gonna deploy." No, it's not. No. And then it just like explodes basically when it hits the ground.
You would want to think that that's the video displayed, but it's literally
basically
one or three men going, ah!
Yeah, they were laughing the whole time. They were laughing before it actually, before you could tell that the parachute was not going to open. So, little suspect, guys. A little suspect. So,
that would be the but why, but we get it.
Yeah,
we get it.
No, I'm sure there was some kind of bet going on, and the guy was like, "Nah, you won't do it." He's like, "No, yeah, I will."
Oh, so the general's not going to pony up his $130 for the loss last night? All right, cool,
dude.
We're getting reprimanded for show.
I was in the military and we did some dumb stuff. Nothing like that, but we did some,
No, this is that. What happened there is balls. It's not dumb. It's just it's funny, but it's balls.
There are periods of time where you do not have anything to do.
Oof.
And
yeah,
the mind starts to run wild.
Yeah. So,
and
football and lifting weights isn't enough. So destroying Humvees. I'm off, bro.
Yeah. You're not doing too well.
Next week I won't be here.
Yeah. I think on the head to head you described the AMG GTR as a British car as well. So
no, I didn't because
we'll let the viewers decide.
Oh my god! Is it see how he defends? He won't defend Porsche like that. That's for sure. No, he won't at all.
Yeah, we'll review that later.
Oh my god!
Yes.
So yeah, that's the most that we have for you. All right, this week, and like always, comment if you think Mustang should be destroyed in a much more explosive manner. Please let us know. Be detailed exactly how you want them destroyed. If you thought the Humvee dropping straight to the ground was not funny, please tell us why not, and we'll laugh at that.
When you say Humvee droppings, it sounds like something else.
Humvee droppings. Is it just oil spilling out from the sky?
It could be anything.
And like always, subscribe, literally comment whatever you want. We'll read it. And
check us out on YouTube
and Instagram.
We'll upload this in a couple of days.
If you guys have any suggestions of topics or maybe something you want to know more about, we'll be happy to answer any questions you guys have or look further into anything that you might want to hear from us.
If you're confused as to why the AMG GTR was made by British people, comment as well. If
you're on my side and you clearly heard that I was describing the DB11 and say that the Brits made them, then just be on my side. It is what it is.
Well, all right, guys.
Did you get your car yet?
No.
No, right? All right, cool. Bye.
No.